Hello, good afternoon. Or sorry, good morning. It's still morning. Well, it's morning where I am. How are you ladies doing today? It is Wednesday. It's our Wow Wednesday of the week. I'm super excited to bring you some training today. 2 secrets to losing weight today. I know that seems like a big, bold statement, right? But I am really just pumped. I prepare these trainings for you guys, and I was thinking about some stuff yesterday, and I was meditating on what I wanted to talk about today, and the Lord just kept like showing me things and showing me things, and I just get really excited for these days because it's where we get to make changes in our life. So if you're here watching, say hi. Let me know if you can hear me. I am hands-free today. I have some friends who know how to do mic stuff and Pastor JR. So you know who you are. Well, he's a guy. He's not in our group, but he has been helping me out with some stuff with the group, and so thank you to Pastor JR. Lacey, his wife, is in this group, so tell him I said thank you. So let me know if you can hear me. Yay, Sam, I see ya. I see Angie. She's already ready to go. She says, plan, let's do it. All right. Well, I'm finishing up my tea. I have a little wifey cup. So I'm excited. I've got my caffeine in me. So let's go ahead and get going. Again, if you can hear me, let me know. Say hi. I can see comments. Somehow I missed comments last week, so sorry about that. But yeah, make sure that you put stuff in the comments as we go. So again, kind of a big, bold statement today. 2 secrets that I'm going to share with you. These are 2 secrets to helping you lose weight right now. Last week we talked about, why is right now the right time to get healthier? And of course, it always is the right time to get healthier, but sometimes there's things that get in the way, objections or fears or our past. And so we kind of talked about some of those things. And so if you are someone you are looking to, you understand this, you know you need to get healthier right now, and you want to figure out how to do this, then this training is for you. These weekly trainings are for you, mamas of faith, as we desire to get healthier in spirit, soul, and body, so that we can live the life we are designed to live, a life that's thriving and not just surviving, right? So I'm here to provide you guys some value in this group. I want you guys to understand why things are happening the way that they're happening. I want you to understand that maybe there's some mindsets that need to change in order for you to get to where you want to be in your health journey, and that's spiritually as well as physically. So even if you're not doing any coaching with me, I want this place to be a place of encouragement, a place of value and info, so that you can at least start moving into these phases of getting healthier. All right, so again, if you're excited about this, let me know. Throw me some emojis, throw me some thumbs up. Again, be here every week. This is where you get to interact with me. Put stuff in the comments. I look at all the comments. I go back and read all the comments. So I will get to your comments as fast as I can. But this is how you can interact with me and get some of your questions answered. So, all right, so let's get into the training. So last week we talked about, there were 3 different things I talked about, motivators is what I like to call them, that are reasons why we can start getting healthier today. And so we talked about taking baby steps. We talked about accountability, and we talked about changing our mindsets about health. And so I really want to kind of dive into that a little bit deeper today, and I want to share a little story with you, something that's been going on in my life. A little shout out to my friend Sadie Bruce. Woohoo! She is someone who, she's very good with organizing. I found this out. We became friends really fast. She started coming to our church, and I started noticing, like, we went over to her house a few times, and like her, pantry was very organized. Her closets are very organized. Her kitchen is very organized. And I'm someone that I'm very good at doing cleaning. I love to have my house clean. I make sure things happen on target. But My cabinets, my pantry, my closets are not organized. And you may have heard me talk about this before, but this is something that God's been kind of challenging me, like, every part of your house should represent me, right? And I talked about this several weeks ago about the fact that, there are things in our lives that God is asking us to kind of clean up, to organize mindsets, whatever it is, our health. And so, I reached out to Sadie and I was like, hey, because you mentioned that you really like to organize, could you help me? And, so we got together and we organized my pantry, or she organized my pantry. And she just did it this week. It looks amazing. I'll probably share some pictures later. But this is just a gift and talent that she has, and she loves to do it, and she's really good at it. And while she was doing it, she was like showing me how to do certain things. But I wanted to share that story because initially when she was supposed to come over, I think Monday, and I pulled everything out of the pantry. And I just want to tell you, when I started pulling stuff out of the pantry, like I told her this too ago, I had anxiety. I was like, there's so much stuff in here. Like, I have no idea where. I was like, all right, she's got this. She's got this. So, because she had come over one other time and she looked at my pantry and she took some pictures and she wrote some notes and she asked me some questions about what I wanted it to look like and how I wanted it to function and all of these things. And so while starting that process gave me anxiety, gave me some sense of oh my gosh, this is going to be so hard. Sadie had a plan. Sadie had done this before. She's organized her house. She has helped other ladies organize their pantries. And, as I was listening to her, as I was watching her do different things, she showed me how she is able to put everything together. And she's done this before. And, so for her to look at my pantry before, all she saw was, she said she envisions what it will look like. And I thought that was very interesting, and I wanted to bring up this story because, this is the way our life is. This is the way our health journey is. For us who, and I want to give you guys an out as ladies. If you're in this group, if you are not a coach, you're not a personal trainer, maybe you've been in fitness, maybe you've been in health, but, maybe you've tried some things for your health journey and they just haven't worked. I want to relieve you of that stress and help you understand that is not your job to figure out. It's okay. We can take responsibility for our health, and there's some things that we learn and we know that can work. But ultimately, we all have gifts and talents, and it's not your job to know everything about your health and fitness that what you might need. I know that might sound a little bold, but God has given us different things that we're supposed to do, and that is something that God has called me to. That is something that God has called personal trainers to, or nutritionists, or those healthcare professionals. We don't have to know everything about how we need to be getting into our health journey. And so I just want to relieve you. I want to help you understand that there is a plan for you. There is a plan that will work for you. And if this is you, if you're someone who you're like, I need a plan. I don't know what my plan should look like. I don't know what my baby steps should look like. I don't know what kind of accountability I need. I don't know what mindsets I need to get into. Just put plan in the comments and let me know. Is this you? Do you struggle with this? And I want you to know it's okay. It's not something you should have to figure out all by yourself. We should take interest in this. We should, like I talked about last week, there needs to be some urgency. You can do this and start today, but we just have to come up with a plan, right? There is a plan that can work for you and that will work for you. It's just figuring out, what does that plan look like, right? So again, if that's you, put plan in the comments and let me know, because I will reach out to you and we can chat. We can see, what does your plan maybe look like? So moving on, I want to talk about this a little bit more. I talked about 2 secrets. So that's the first secret. The first secret is you have to have a plan. You have to have a plan. And that's part of my job, and that's part of what I can do to help. Even if coaching isn't an option right now, I can at least help you get going in a good direction. So So last week we talked about how, sometimes it's hard to get motivated to see the value in ourselves. I talked about the story, um, well, I'm trying to remember. Oh, I'm drawing a blank, sorry. But last week I talked about how we need to be motivated, and sometimes we don't see the value in ourselves, and that's why sometimes we don't move forward in our journey because we don't necessarily see that we have worth, that we have value. And I want to talk about that for a minute. And I want to bring up the story again in Joshua. I've been going through Joshua, and I've been studying, and meditating on the different ways that God called the Israelites to take the promised land. The first battle was the Battle of Jericho, and they did it a certain way, and God had a certain plan for that. And I want to stress that you have a promised land to take. If you are a believer, if you are a follower of Christ, you are a daughter of the King, He has a promised land for you. Your life should be looking like the promised land that He has for you. And so God has a plan of attack. He has a plan for you. He has a way that He wants you to do it. And I wanted to bring up this story because I mentioned a while back the story of AI, of how they conquered AI, or they didn't actually conquer AI, and it was because when they had gone to the battle, through the Battle of Jericho, there was a man, Achan, who had taken some things that the Lord had said, no, you can't take those things, give those things to me, these are mine. And I talked about how, sometimes when we gain areas in our promised land, the glory, first of all, needs to go to the Lord, right? And so Achan took some of that glory. He wanted some of that glory. And in the end, he perished because he didn't realize that. And they didn't win the battle of Ai because they did it the wrong way. They didn't obey. And I want to come back to the second part, or the second time that God still wanted them to take the land of Ai. So He gave them a second chance, right? And so I want to read here in Joshua 8, just the first couple of verses. It says, "Then the Lord said to Joshua, 'Do not be afraid or discouraged. Take your fighting men and attack Ai, for I have given you the king of Ai, his people, his town, and his land. You will destroy them as you destroyed Jericho and its king. But this time you may keep the plunder and the livestock for yourselves. Set an ambush behind the town.'" Again, here, God has a plan. He tells Joshua and the Israelites, this is how you're going to take the land. And I think that's, going back to the first time that they tried to take Ai, they had their own plan. They were like, oh, this is no big deal. They went and spied out the land, and they were like, oh, we got this. We don't need that many people. But they had, Joshua had failed to see that Achan had not obeyed. And so they didn't win because they didn't do it the way that the Lord wanted them to. But, God is gracious, and he wanted them to take the land. And He gave them a second chance. And He told them how to do it. And I just want to bring that up because, for one, God has this promised land for us. He will never stop pursuing you. He will never stop pursuing you. He wants to give it to you, but He will give you a second chance. He gives us second chances. He cares about you. He wants you to take that promised land. And I think about the promised land of our lives, of our bodies, of our temples, as a promised land. I want you to know that. I see the way that God wants us to live, the way He, as our Father, has planned for us to live. He wants us to have victory in these areas of our lives. And so He cares about you. He wants you to succeed. He wants you to take this promised land for yourself, in your health and your fitness. Because you can do life, and you can take more promised land, more and more and more. If you are healthy, if your body is as healthy as it can be, Granted, it's a physical body, it's flesh, it's going to get old, it's going to have problems. But if we do the best that we can with what we have with this temple that houses the Holy Spirit, we will be able to take way more promised land in our lives. And so he wants you to succeed spiritually, mentally, and physically. And so there is grace. There is grace. And I want you to say this out loud with me. I'm going to say it here in a minute. But I want you to understand, this is the second secret, is giving yourself grace. Giving yourself grace in the process. And I want you to say, if God gives me grace, then I should give me grace. I know that's not proper English, but I want you to say it like that, like you're talking to yourself. If God gives me grace, then I should give me grace too, right? And so once you have a plan, you have a plan to follow. I talk about this all the time. Life is going to happen. Life is going to get in the way. Give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace. We have to have a plan. We have to have a way to move. Sometimes that plan has to shift a little bit, but in order for that plan to shift and us to not give up, we have to give ourselves grace. We have to maybe shift a little bit. We have to move a little bit, but we keep moving forward. That's what God did for them, and they followed the plan. I think this story is interesting too because, God had a specific way for them to take the promised land, and it was, to kind of fool the town and pretend like they were going to come at it from the front, but they had set up an ambush behind the city. And that was God's plan. And there's certain ways that we can conquer things in life. There's certain promised lands, and there's certain ways we need to attack those problems in our life. And I think it's the same way with our health. We have to have a plan of attack, and we have to have some grace. We have to understand this is where we're going, but we have to have some grace, right? And so I know I am someone who struggles with giving myself grace. I am a perfectionist. I am, if you've taken the Enneagram, I'm a number 1. I am a perfectionist. And, so I have a really hard time giving myself this grace. So we will fall down in life. Things will happen in life. But it's how fast will we get back up? Will we stay to the plan, stick to the plan? Maybe the plan shifts a little bit, and will we give ourselves some grace? And I want you to also know that this is something you'll probably hear me say a lot, is the reps to consistency, the reps of following the plan, they count. The reps, the more you do it, the more and more that you do it, the more consistency you will find, the more consistent you will be. And those reps count. And those are the things in the consistency, in the plan, that will get you to where you want to go. So if this is you, if you are someone, you need to give yourself a little bit more grace. You need to understand that maybe it's a little scary to step into a plan of figuring out what is your health going to look like, what do you need to change. I want you to put grace in the comments and let me know. Do you need some grace? Are you willing to give yourself some grace in order to move forward in this journey? So that's really all I have for you guys today. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. Let me just double check and make sure. I see a few comments, but I make sure I didn't miss any comments. Thank you for the ladies who are watching still. Again, like I said, I'm always trying to figure out, what you guys need, what mindsets we need to change. So make sure that you're here every week. Make sure you comment and let me know, does this resonate with you? Is it something that you need? And if there's something else that you need, put a post up in the group and tag me and let me know, hey, I'm struggling with this. What can I do about this? Because I'm here. I'm here to provide you some value. I'm here to help you get going in these good directions, all right? All right, well, that's all I have for you ladies today. Keep watching because we're going to keep talking a little bit more about this. What does it look like to be more consistent? What does it look like, how do we work through some of these obstacles of figuring out what does the plan look like, of giving myself grace? Because these things are important, and these are the things that are going to move us forward in our journey. All right, so you ladies have a great Wednesday. I will talk to you guys soon.